Hello, friends! Welcome to Nature Check, the show where you come for the game and stay for the science. We're doing a special one-shot today. I'm very excited. So we'll start by introducing ourselves, and then we'll introduce the game. Hi, I'm Sheryl. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm an ecology student at the University of Illinois at Chicago. When I'm not doing research, I'm also a science communicator and the host of the Roving Naturalist on YouTube and here on Nature Check all the time. Next, there's Chelsea.
Hello, hi. I'm Chelsea Connor. I'm from the Commonwealth of Dominica. I am a graduate student studying biology, anoles, love anoles. I talk about anoles all the time, maybe a little bit too much. I don't know, we'll see. But I host Did You Anole on my Twitter. And hopefully on Instagram soon. I've been trying to do it on both places. We'll see how it goes. And I'm also a co-founder of Black Burners Week, which is coming to you at the beginning of summer. So look out for that.
Yay! Next, there's Johanna.
Hi, I'm Johanna. I'm a master's student of entomology at The Ohio State University. I have to say they get mad. And I study parasitoid wasps. It's a fun fact.
Then there's Ellen.
Hey y'all, my name's Ellen, she, her. I live in Florida, and I am the host and producer of the wildlife podcast, Just the Zoo of Us. That's kind of it as far as I go. But I'm really excited to be here. I'm also kind of a general game nerd. So I've never played this game before, but I'm really looking forward to it.
And then there's Renata.
Hey everybody, my name's Renata. I use they them pronouns, and I'm a current PhD student at Duke in North Carolina, and I study urban trees and the health of trees, which is weirdly topical for this story. This seems like it's going to be kind of rough. I feel like you've been planning directly, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited for this game and hang out with them.
Yeah, awesome. So as Renata teased, the way this game is written focuses quite a bit on conflict between humans and the environment, but I think with the spread of people we have here, we might be able to provide some context for what human-environment conflicts can look like in a variety of circumstances. But what we're playing today is called A Wood Heart. And this is a game about a forest and the spirits that live in it and the humans that live around the outside of the forest or maybe interact with the forest in some ways. And it's a map drawing game. So you will see below me on the screen is it's currently just a white square or rectangle, but we're going to be drawing in it. I'm not going to be drawing in it. They're going to be drawing in it. They're going to draw a forest. And this game is available on itch.io. It was created by James Chip. Thank you for creating this. I found it and thought it looked cute. So here we are, playing it. So let us begin. The first thing we need to do is determine what the wood heart of the forest in this game or this story looks like, is like. So the game says... the wood heart of your forest can be whatever you like, and it is unlike anything else found in any other forest. So we'll start with who was among trees most recently. It's cold outside in a lot of North America right now, so I don't know who that might be.
What kind of radius are you looking for? what distance to trees?
I think the implication might be go for a walk in the woods, but...
So I didn't take a walk in the woods, but I walked next to a patch of trees to wait for the bus.
Sure. Awesome. Yeah. So so we'll go around. We'll just do Chelsea, Johanna, Ellen, Renata again. And you'll each take a turn to describe one aspect of the wood heart of the forest. And once y'all have decided what this wood heart looks like, acts like, someone or several someones can draw it, and that'll be the center of the forest that we create for the game. Cool? Awesome. All right. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with color. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say it's pink. I want it to be pink.
So we're looking for physical attributes, like
Physical or otherwise, yeah. What it looks like, what it is, what it does, yeah. It's sort of it's the heart of the forest, so yeah. This is very Fern Gully in some ways.
I like to say it's misshapen.
Ooh.
It's not symmetrical.
Can I give it an interactive element?
So what do you mean by interactive? Like there are moving pieces to it, or?
I guess like how comprehensive is this description? Because my thought was, I was thinking it could be something that is a musical instrument, like a drum, perhaps. Maybe it's like a drum that makes like the beat of the heart of the forest.
That's cool. It can be as comprehensive a description as you want. I like that.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna say it's a drum.
Okay.
All right, I'm liking this like pink, slightly misshapen drum we've got starting us out. I'm feeling some strong like fungal connection vibes with part of the forest, like throwing in some mycelium type stuff, like connecting trees. So I'm feeling like maybe this drum, if you like play it right, or if it kind of gets the right rhythm, it can kind of make the mycelium grow and move a little, and kind of connect all the trees and kind of like make songs maybe going through. The trees waving. That's the vibe I'm feeling.
I love it.
And it's like when you hit it, the spores like poof out from it. This is really cool.
I always like a lycoperdon. All right, so we have a pink asymmetrical drum that specifically is connected to all of the mycological denizens of the forest. Anybody have anything to add, or are you happy with that as the heart? All right, sounds good.
I have one maybe oh sorry.
Oh yeah, go for it. Go for it.
I have one quick clarifying question. Does it have to be in the literal middle of the board? Like, is it static in its position?
No. However, I will let you know this because it's important. So the wood heart it's the heart of the forest. Basically, it is as long as it exists, the forest exists. But if it gets lost for some reason, then the forest is completely destroyed. So.
Oh, so we gotta protect the heart. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, which makes sense intuitively. I was just curious if we wanted to make our lives interesting, make it so it moves with some predictable manner around our forest.
Oh.
But I don't know. Other folks would be like, no, we don't want to make our lives complicated here. Or how are we feeling like moving drum dance to where different densities of things are? Who knows?
I mean, it's musical. I feel like having motion would be nice.
Right? And I feel like we're talking about like fragmentation, what is the heart of a forest. As you like start, the forest will change, where the heart is changing. I feel like we can have it move around. I don't know that I have a recommended rule for its movement though. I don't know if anyone else is feeling like it'll definitely do something predictable or just moves around every couple of minutes.
If you would like it to have regular movement, I have a suggestion. But Chelsea, go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say that, like, since it's like sound music focused, then it could just be wherever there's the most like music or where's the best vibe for music in the forest at the moment. If anyone's having a jam session, it's there.
Nice. Awesome. So I'll leave the movement of the heart around the forest up to you. But it looks like we do have a picture. I'm scrolling back to my whiteboard. I love it. It looks kind of mushroomy. Perfect. Very nice.
Make the sides look like the gills.
Yeah.
Like the underside of a mushroom.
It's very nice. Love it very much. Awesome. Okay, so we have a heart, a wood heart in our forest. Next, we will describe, or sorry. Next, we'll draw an outline of the forest, and there's a river that runs through the forest. So you can make it, I would make it kind of big-ish because there's a lot of things that you're going to then put within the boundaries of the forest. But you'll draw a boundary of the forest and a river that runs through it. And then you will get to do some chooses.
How do you suggest to zoom out?
Ooh. I wonder if you can I
found it. It's in options.
Ah,
Yeah, there
perfect.
We go. Thank you.
There you go. Awesome. I will make sure that I zoom out so that people on the stream can see it too. Options. Excellent. Okay. There's that. So now the wood heart looks very small, but we're going to put other things around it. So whoever's feeling brave can draw the boundary of the forest and the river. And then we'll go in reverse order this time. Renata, Ellen, Johanna, Chelsea, you'll each get to choose and place within the boundary of the forest a thing from this list. I'm making sure that I'm reading the rules correctly. Yeah. Okay. So the list is the oldest tree, a flower that only grows in this forest, so an endemic flower, an endemic bird, a glade where animals graze, a cave that provides shelter, a pond with fish, a pollinator who keeps the forest growing, or a fruit tree that provides food. So you each get to choose one of those things, and then you can place it wherever you want around the wood heart within the forest. And I will happily repeat the list.
I was going to say I appreciate you for that. There was no way I was going to remember.
Yeah.
Could you copy and paste the list into the Zoom chat?
I can type it into the Zoom chat, yes. I'm working with two different computers here.
But first we need the boundary of the forest and the stream.
Yes, we do.
I was wondering, y'all. I don't know if y'all have a specific location in mind, but if we want to we could have like a tree line area where we've got like a mountain that's tall and there's no trees maybe at the top of that, but trees around it. But that also means you have like a mountain cap, and I don't know if we want to make it that. Johanna, if you're feeling something, I say also hop in, do what you feel.
Yeah, no. I mean, we're looking for just the boundary of the forest and a river.
Is this a bird's eye view
Yes.
that we're looking at? Okay.
Or, I mean, you could do oblique if you really felt like it, but that might be harder to draw. Alright, there is the list.
Sweet.
So now you can look at it a little better.
Do we have to go in order drawing them, or can we just pick one and draw it?
Yeah, just pick one and draw it if you don't want to go in order. But everybody gets to pick one.
Alright, can I pick the pollinator?
We love pollinators.
Can everything only show up once?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put him over here.
Okay, do we have a boundary? Because I keep trying to draw a boundary, but for some reason I can only do straight lines, and so I feel like I'm...
Oh, that's weird.
Like the weirdest looking hexagon. I'm sure I did something wrong. So if anyone else is feeling more inspired and wants to give us a squiggle or something, or I can give us a hexagonal or 26-sided hexagon.
Yeah, I drew a big circle in green. Is everybody able to see that?
Yes.
Aha, now I see it. Okay.
You may need to zoom out
Yeah.
a bit. Quite a bit.
I will zoom out much more. There we go. Awesome.
Okay, I think technically I was in appointed order first. I know we got pollinator called, which I feel totally good with. Anyone else have one that they're feeling strongly about that I make sure not to steal?
I'm kind of feeling like a bird, an endemic bird.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll go with a fruit tree.
Nice.
Alright, I'm gonna draw a somewhere.
A cave? Awesome. All right, so we've got a cave, an endemic bird, a fruit tree, and a pollinator. Sweet. Amazing. And so, of course, the forest is filled with lots of things, but these are some important, not landmarks, but important components of the forest. Some focal points, if you will. So I see a tree. It's fun to watch all of this come together. And a bird.
Yo, me trying to draw with a mouse right now is really, y'all are gonna have to forgive me. This is not gonna look good.
No, I see it. It's a cave. I get it. Ooh, Ellen, is it a hummingbird?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I got to meet so many incredible species of hummingbird when I was in Ecuador recently. Holy smokes. Oh my goodness, Chelsea, it's so cute.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
Tell me more about this pollinator.
Since our like the heart of the woods is a little mushroom based like drum thing with the spores, I figured that he has there's little mushroom minions that, like go around doing stuff in the forest. So this one is the pollinator. He's going about doing all the pollinating stuff.
Oh, I love it. And there's a fruit tree, and there's a cave in the side of a mountain. Very nice. Awesome.
This little basket.
Oh, yes, of course, because you have to harvest mushrooms in a wicker basket so that the spores fall out and repopulate.
Right. So,
yeah.
You have your mushrooms and your flowers in the basket, and you pick the right ones, help them pollinate and all that.
Love it.
Just
oh, my goodness.
Guy doing his job.
Yeah. Alrighty, and then now that we have put some important components of the forest on our map, outside of the forest, somewhere outside of that boundary, y'all can choose together. There's a list here, and you get to choose two total. So y'all can choose together which two total you want. Human structures on the edges of the forest. So the human structure choices are a small settlement, a log mill, a dock, like along the river or something, a place of worship, and a small farmstead.
I think the log mill would introduce the most conflict. But I think a place of worship would be really interesting to tie into the musical component of the heart of the forest. Either of those I think would be really cool.
I kind of like the idea of having a farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a farm would be really good. I also like the idea of having a dock, because I don't know, I can just see like, oh, what's coming in? Oh, it's trouble. Never mind.
Oh, that reminds me, we need a river somewhere on this map through the forest. Oh. So you can also do that. Thank you for making me think about the water. Yeah.
Maybe coming down from the mountain?
Ooh, that makes sense. Lots of snow melt. All right, so I heard some votes for a farm or a log mill or a place of worship or a dock. What'd you get? Pick two.
I like the farm.
Farm and place of worship.
Cool. Awesome. So those two things can go anywhere around the outside of the forest on this map.
I think the farm should go somewhere near the river for irrigation purposes.
If it's anything like the farms where I grew up, they'll let their cows walk in it.
I feel like it would be nice to have the place of worship nearby. We got a couple of things that are near the edge of our forest that feel like big landmarks, and so it might make sense to have place of worship either by I don't know, the hummingbird, or maybe, yeah, I don't know. What do y'all think? What do you want to put? But I would say towards one of the big things already.
Not too far from the farm, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll place the farm first, and then I think naturally other stuff would spring up around it.
Oh, sorry. I want to stop you before you go too far drawing the farm, Chelsea. It should be outside the forest to start. Yeah. And then
Chelsea's got a stylus out?
Yep. She is an awesome artist.
Yeah, I've been drawing on my iPad this whole time.
Y'all go check out all her Knoll stickers and like the popsicles and stuff. They're so cute. All right, so you've got the farm going down there by the river. Yeah, where do you want to put the place of worship?
Maybe on the other side of the river from the farm.
Okay, so both of them kind of there in the southern corner.
Man, I do not remember what farms look like at all, like farmhouses.
You're good.
Yeah, I'm drawing a triangle and a square. Let's go.
Works for me. As long as you know what it is.
Just put a little cow out front.
Mer.
Tried to make it look kind of like a little bit of a temple.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I am drawing with a mouse.
I mean,
I'm doing my best.
that is okay. And I got out a piece of paper because the next part I need to write something down. All right, so while you are finishing up your beautiful drawings, the last thing we need to do to sort of set up the forest before we actually start the storytelling portion of the game is discover the spirits. So the game says there are 6 spirits that live in the forest, each giving a voice to a different aspect of this place. So you will need to determine a name. So we're giving a name to each of these spirits, and I'll write them down so we keep track of them. But each of them has something that they provide the voice for, and so I'll tell you those, and maybe those will inspire the names that you want to give them. So we have a spirit that gives voice to the roots of the plants, one that gives voice to the babbling of the river, one that gives voice to the songs of the birds, one that gives voice to the creak of the trees, one that gives voice to the call of the animals, and personal favorite, one that gives voice to the scurrying of the insects.
I feel like the insects need a voice, for sure.
Yeah, all 6 of these will be the spirits that you will be playing in the game. But yeah, if you'd like to, we could come up with names for them as opposed to just, saying their jobs. Makes me think of Once on This Island.
Oh no, this is hard.
I'll just throw some out there for 2, and then we can workshop them. I'm thinking like Micah for the one that talks about fungus, which is close to mycology, but sounds a little more bite-sized.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the creak of the trees, I was just because X is a cool letter, something like xyla.
Yes.
Which is more like the xylem, is where the water moves in trees. We can workshop them, but I'll write them in the chat so we have them to start.
Those are beautiful.
Was the one that was the calls of the animals, like generally?
Yep, so there's one that's for the call of the animals, one that's for the songs of the birds. Yeah.
One that comes to mind for, like, general animals, excluding birds, apparently, is fauna.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah, so we've got Micah, Zyla, and Fauna. We have left the babbling of the river, the songs of the birds, and the scurrying of the insects.
Kind of like skitter for like the insects, because that's the sound I think of.
Nice. Now
Can we do brook for the babbling of the river?
solid. Awesome. And
Think about that for so long.
I know, I love it. And the songs of the birds.
What about Peep?
That's so cute. Oh my goodness. Adorable. All right, so we have Micah, Brooke, Peep, Zyla, Fauna, and Skitter. And I'll remind you what each of them, what their job is when it's your turn to speak as them. But I have them written down on a piece of paper because we might need to make notes next to their names at some point, depending on what happens in the game. But those 6 spirits are the spirits of the forest that the lovely players will be speaking as on their turns. So, now, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who wants to go first? We are going to, each person is going to answer one question about the spirits in the forest to sort of like help flesh out this world that we've got going. Who wants to go first?
I have one quick question
Oh,
before
yeah.
we get too far and I forget.
Go for it.
Do we need to go back and draw the parts that you listed originally that we didn't? Because I think we drew a couple, but I don't know that we got to all of them. Does that matter? Like,
Oh, no, yeah.
on-
Everybody was just drawing one. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep, no worries. Yeah, so who wants to be first to answer a question about the spirits to help round out the world? Yeah, all right, Chelsea. Okay, so one of these 6 spirits used to live in a different forest. What caused them to leave, and how did they come to be here?
So I think Pete left their last forest because of deforestation, and they found a new forest where there's still a lot of trees and a lot of birds.
Including that special endemic bird. Yeah. Awesome. All right, who's next? Somebody say it. Say it.
I'll do it.
Johanna. All right. All right, Johanna. 2 of these 6 spirits have had a confrontation in the past. What was it, and how did they resolve it and move past it? Spill the tea.
Boy. So, I mean, I'd like to think that the insects and the trees maybe have a little bit of a problem periodically. How they got past it. Probably just by limiting the amount that maybe certain insects stay in the trees. Bark beetles destroying only a certain number of trees every year, maybe.
Yeah. So they worked out some sort of cooperation or balance.
They made a compromise.
Nice, nice. All right, Ellen, I saw you raising your hand next. Awesome. Okay, so one of the 6 spirits has been in the forest since the Woodheart first appeared. What was this place like before the forest grew? And that spirit would know.
I think Micah seems like the obvious choice for this one.
Yeah.
Maybe in the beginning it was only just the first little mushroom that would eventually become the drum that is now the heart of the forest, and periodically over time I'm thinking maybe like it was a very, very slow, like maybe it was like every couple of days or so there would be like a beat of the drum that would puff out spores, and then over time it started to like speed up. So like it started with like every couple of days, and then it was going every day, and then it was like every few hours, and then just like over time, as it started to beat up, the forest grew more and more.
Like that.
Yeah,
That's very
I think
pretty.
It was but like, I guess it would have to then start with just fungus, but then other stuff would like build up around it. Maybe like bugs came in to eat the fungus, and then everything kind of bloomed around that.
I mean, that is absolutely how ecosystems can establish after some sort of disturbance that was cataclysmic, like a volcano eruption, right? And then there's just bare earth. The fungi wind up forming the foundation for a lot of ecosystem development. So I think that works perfectly. It's very pretty. All right, Renata, your turn, and your question is, one of the 6 spirits has heard about humans before. What do they know?
Ooh, good question. I'm feeling like Brooke a little bit, just because get some water love. And I feel like at this stage knows maybe that they interact a lot with the water, they're trying to grow, they're curious, and they kind of like to watch the water and learn a little bit about it. And they make mistakes sometimes, like when landslides building a farm around it, like who knows what cow falls in. So it's like ambivalent maybe yet on their nature, see some curiosity and some ingenuity, but also as a result some accidental destruction or potential intentional destruction. Yeah, they feel like, yeah, definitely bathe in it. I feel like that's a good one. It's a rough day out there on the farm. We're doing your prayers, and sometimes you really just gotta cleanse. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
So still a little bit, but curious, good with tools, and still learning a lot about the area.
That makes sense. Okay. Let me just make sure. Okay. So, now that we've established the forest, we are going to take turns doing the turn, which is let a spirit talk. So it says, each turn you will be playing the part of one of these spirits, and you are going to the wood heart and telling it about the events that have happened in and around the forest. So it's a storytelling game. So to find out which of the forest spirits you'll be speaking as, you will roll your 6-sided die, and then and we've got this list of spirits, so they're numbered 1 through 6, and that will determine who you're talking as. If you roll a spirit who at some point during the game has left the forest, if you roll that name, then instead of speaking as that spirit, we will do something called the forest shrinks. If the name of the spirit that you roll is still here, then I will draw a card from the tarot deck, and the suit on the card will tell us what sort of story you are going to be telling the wood heart about. Sound good? Awesome. Okay. How about everybody roll your 6-sided die, and whoever has the highest number will go first. What do we got? 4.
I got a 5.
3, 5,
I got
3. Okay. So, oops. Woo. All right. So, Johanna, you have it real easy. All of the spirits are on the table right now. So, roll your 6-sided die again, and then I will pick a card from the deck and figure out what kind of story you're telling.
It's a 3.
A 3. Okay, so that means right now you will be speaking as Peep, the voice of the songs of the birds. And the card is... that does not have a suit on it. Thanks, tarot deck. Should have pulled out all of those first. Whoops. Okay, so we pulled the 5 of Cups. Cups. So your spirit will be telling the wood heart that one of the humans seems to care for the forest and has tried to heal damage done. What has this human done to help?
Yeah, so Peep, the spirit of the bird song. I mean, I love that we have this hummingbird up there. I'd like to think that maybe these inhabitants of the farm are setting up hummingbird feeders just so they can observe nature and try to get a better view of them.
Nice. Is that having any specific effects on where the hummingbirds spend their time or how many there are?
Oh yeah, the hummingbirds are thriving. I believe Peep was the one that moved from a different forest. So the fact that their habitat is not being torn down at the moment is good for them.
Yeah.
They're thriving.
Nice.
And they're spending more time around the farm.
That's awesome. Anything else you'd like to add about that story? Nope.
No.
Sounds good. No, that's fine. Nice.
Draw an arrow
nice beginning.
to indicate the movement of the hummingbirds.
Ooh,
on the farm.
perfect. Yeah. All right, Renata, you're next. Roll your die. We've got a 5. All right, so that means you are speaking as Fauna, the voice of the calls of the animals. And your card is the 2 of Pentacles. So this spirit tells the Woodheart that the humans have stolen something from it. What did they take, and how does the spirit sound different because of what the humans did?
Ooh. Stolen something from Fauna, all of the animals. One thing, maybe, that the humans have stolen is there's one creature that's very curious, also reminds us a lot of the humans and likes to travel the forest a lot. And this being started hanging out around the humans, kind of like the hummingbirds. And this being was a wolf. And it started hanging around the humans and decided it's going to keep hanging around the humans, and so it's no longer really in the forest very much anymore. And the humans have started kind of keeping the wolf there, hanging out, feeding it, and instead asking the wolf, that they now call a dog, to go kind of with them into the forest and show them different parts of it, because those dogs still remember some of the places that it used to kind of wander around and roam. And for me, what sounds a little bit different for me is there's kind of I think there's no longer a place that humans are not, and a place that humans are so much. Like, they're starting to kind of wander and explore more into our spaces, and the idea of like what is animal, this non-human animal, and what is human animal is getting a little bit more blended, and so our voices are getting a little bit more mixed.
Nice.
And in one way, I'm actually able to talk to the humans a little bit more, which I think is exciting as well.
Yeah, really awesome. And you've got a little story of domestication in there. However, yours comes with a sad extra. Because the humans have taken something from the forest, we will go through our first The Forest Shrinks. So something that was once a feature of the forest is gone forever. Which forest feature do the humans destroy, and what is left in its place? The instructions say erase and redraw the outline of the forest so that the forest feature is now outside of the forest. Then erase that forest feature. So by forest feature, they mean one of the 4 things that you drew at the beginning. So your choices are the hummingbirds, the fruit tree, the cave, or the pollinator.
I have a proposal that y'all can shoot down. I'm gonna say they turn the cave into like a summer hangout house up north, because as they're starting to wander into the forest more to do their exploring, they're like, you know what, let's get some running water and things up in that cave so it's a little less stinky. Which means now we put a little shelter or something up there.
I think that makes sense.
Like a base camp.
Yeah. Alrighty. So the forest has shrunk a little bit. We are losing the cave in the mountains. And we also sort of like make a cutout in the boundary of the forest. If that's possible. We'll see. This virtual whiteboard. It's supposed to be played around a table on a piece of paper, but you know, that's not how we roll. Alrighty. And because the spirit of the forest fauna was injured because of this taking, that spirit now has an asterisk next to their name that shows that they've been weakened. If something bad happens in the future, that spirit could be forced to leave the forest. Okie dokie. Chelsea, it's your turn next. No pressure. Four. Okay, so that is Xyla, the spirit of the creaking of the trees. And your card is the Four of Cups. So we're back to cups. So you also get to tell the Woodheart that some of the humans are caring for the forest in some way and trying to heal damage. So what have they done to help?
Oh, that's great. I was so scared. Scared for a minute. Well, let me tell you. The trees told me that, the humans have been picking fruit. But when they pick the fruit, they plant the seeds so that new trees will grow, which I think is really cool and really kind of them. So maybe they're not all bad. We'll see. We'll find out.
That's beautiful. I love it. So giving back part of what you took. Very nice. Roll your d6 again for me, just in case you get a 5.
A 6?
A 6. Okay, never mind. You're good. You're good. But I like the idea that there are more of those fruit trees popping up all over the forest. All right.
Can you draw them in then?
You can, sure. Yeah. Add some more trees. It is a forest after all. Did we, I don't remember who drew the fruit tree, but did you have a thought of what kind of fruits they were?
I did not.
You did not. Generic tree fruits.
Not to complicate things too much, but if we thought forgive me, someone studies parasitic wasps, is that true? Okay, figs? Figs are wasps.
Oh.
Figs, that's a real thing, right?
Yeah.
Throw it in there, maybe a fig tree.
It's a fig tree.
It's a fig tree. Yeah, if I remember correctly, the females of that wasp don't they don't develop wings or something like that, so they just stay in the fig flower and the males visit the flower to, I think that's right.
Yeah, actually I believe that the males become part of the fig. They just dissolve in there.
Oh, neat.
Wait, hold on, real quick.
Uh-oh.
When you eat figs, you eat wasp, right?
You're
Is
eating
it?
wasps.
So good. Well, it's protein. Great. Okay, that's a think about it. So
Amazing.
Oh, there's
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
in the fruit. It's really cool. I've never eaten a fig since, but I love that for them.
Adds texture.
I mean, come on. The bugs, they're just part of life. We can talk about the mites in your eyelashes, but I don't think that's part of this story. Yeah, exactly. See?
I don't need nightmares. All right, let's that's great.
Ellen, roll your 6-sided die.
Alright, listen here. I wonder if you can hear this. Maybe I'll get some ASMR. Hold on. Hear that?
Love that click clack
Metal dice.
sound. Yes.
4.
A 4. All right, so you will also be speaking as Zyla, the voice of the creaking of the trees. Ooh, and we have a new suit. So you have the King of Wands. Wands says, this spirit, so Zyla, is telling the Woodheart that it has taken something the humans built. That human structure is now a part of the forest. Which of the human structures on the map has the spirit captured, and how?
This is perfect. You could not have given me a better prompt.
Hey.
Because I have said multiple times that my absolute favorite aesthetic in the universe is plants reclaiming human structures, like in Horizon Zero Dawn, which I was just talking about, how when the buildings start crumbling and then plants grow over it, you have vines creeping up the walls. That's happening.
Oh, love it.
Yes. I think that in the house of worship, in the place of worship, the temple, I think that it started with a tree that began growing underneath the temple and pushing the floorboards up, and the floor began to buckle, and it just kind of wouldn't stop growing, and it was pushing up underneath the floor, and then eventually it just kind of grew up through the middle of the temple and started branching out through the windows, and people stopped using the church because I keep saying church because that's what like I am familiar with, but the people stopped using the temple. And so since people weren't coming in and out of the temple anymore, that just let more creatures move into it and make their homes there. So like branches started growing out through the windows and vines creeping up the side. So it's just totally become like, now there's like a whole tree that's like the canopy sprouting out through the roof. And, yeah,
That's very pretty. I love that.
Coolest thing ever.
Makes me think of Ailanthus, the tree of heaven. I don't know if you deal with that a lot. Renata, yeah. Yeah, they're a little aggressive, but also that's the tree from A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. So, you know, they can be a symbol of hope and resilience depending on whether or not they're breaking your sidewalk. So that means that the house of worship is now going to be either erased and redrawn, or you can just sort of add to it to turn it into a ruin with this beautiful tree growing up through it and all of the nature reclaiming it. And you will now sort of modify the boundary of the forest so that that structure is inside the forest. And it counts as a new forest feature. So even though we lost the cave, we have gained this ruin. Nice. You win some, you lose some. What do you need, my cat? Always. All right, come on. There we go. One cat. Alrighty. So while
I like
Ellen,
the idea that the temple has now become a tree.
yes,
The temple is now a tree trunk.
I like that too because like I was not raised with a particular religion, but being in forests has always made me feel very spiritual. So I like that sort of connection there.
I like the idea that maybe the people that used the house of worship let it happen.
Ooh.
Like maybe they saw it start happening and they were like, "Listen, the forest needs this back," and maybe they just like let it go.
That's
Rather
pretty.
than trying to like cut it down or something. I like that idea.
Yeah. I took a... Oh, go for it.
I was gonna say also proposal with that, maybe like as a part of that process, the little wood heart was kind of like, you know what, I feel like some real good vibes are happening by this house of worship. I feel like there's some good dancing, some good plant growth, some folks really feeling it, and so it might be kind of dancing its way closer to the house of worship.
Nice. Love that. Yeah, this makes me think of a workshop that I took at the Ecological Society meeting once. The woman was talking about different ways of doing science communication, like what we're doing right now. And she said that she thought about like groups that she belonged to and how she could connect nature and science communication to those groups. And she was an active member of her church, and so she designed a guest sermon all about the significance of trees in different biblical passages and shared that with her home congregation. And then it became so popular that she was asked to come give it at other congregations too. And I just thought that was really beautiful, that like, yeah, nature is important to a lot of different religions in different ways. So alrighty, Johanna, roll your die again. It's your turn again.
Okay. It's a 1.
A 1. That means that you are speaking as Micah, the voice of the roots of the plants and the fungi. And my cat is trying to lick things. Your card is... man, getting a lot of the same suits. Your card is the Ace of Pentacles. So your spirit tells the wood heart that the humans have stolen something from the forest. What did the humans take, and how does the spirit Micah sound different because of it?
So, boy, the roots and the fungi.
Mm-hmm. Not good.
Ooh. So, I think as the humans are venturing out, they're probably harvesting different things, and they might have just over-harvested some sort of mushroom or fungus to the point where it's not found in this area anymore. So lost that species, and in turn they'll lose out on harvesting it in future years.
Exactly. It's all about sustainable harvesting. And we will once again do the forest shrinks. So something that was once a feature of the forest is gone because of this excessive taking. So which forest feature did the humans destroy, and what is left in its place?
I mean, I'm looking at this map and I see a little mushroom.
The pollinator.
But I mean... I feel that maybe the mushroom is lost. And I don't know what they would leave in its place. Oh no, I feel bad
Maybe they
for
start
doing this.
mushroom farming. They start like some.
Oh yeah.
farm.
So instead, maybe they replaced this with a mushroom farm, and it's very manufactured and sad. But
All right.
no native things.
Maybe like
No
now it's a
native things.
monoculture.
Yeah.
It's all just like one species of mushroom instead of a diverse sort of ecosystem.
Womp womp.
Yeah, because we've lost the pollinator and all of the diverse species that it was responsible for.
Sad. But that means that you erase and redraw the outline of the forest, so that forest feature is now outside, and then erase it and draw the new thing. That might be a little difficult because the pollinator is right there next to the temple, so you can change it to a different spot if you need to. Or make a loop. That works. We're not fancy. There we go. Sadness. So that also means that Micah, the spirit of the roots of the plants and fungi, has been weakened as well, but they're still here. So that's good. And it's Renata's turn again. Two. All right. Oh, that's someone we haven't heard from yet. This is Brooke, the voice of the babbling of the river. And my gosh, I keep getting the same. I swear, we shuffled these cards first. You have the Four of Wands. So Wands is the spirit tells the wood heart that it has taken something that the humans built. That human structure is now a part of the forest. Which of the human structures on the map has the spirit captured, and how?
Man, I don't want something horrible to happen to these people. Well, okay, so the people have been trying to figure out how to farm, but turns out, unfortunately, the farming was getting a little too close to a floodplain. And they were doing their best to try to, like, dredge it up and did this stuff where they, you know, had water where they didn't want it, so they tried to, like, force the water into a little river called channelization, which seems fine in the moment, and it's fine until the rains come hard and everything floods and you lose your farm. So unfortunately, the farm has now become somewhat of a swamp zone because of the unfortunate channelization, which they were trying to do to help with their fungus farm, because you need some good moisture to kind of get that going, but you also don't want to flood all this stuff. So unfortunately, took back their farm. The cows are okay though. The cows got moved. Everyone's good.
They got moved.
Yes.
It's such a good thing.
I'm
I
not
was
sorry.
muted just then, because the noise I made was inhuman.
I gotta put in one pun every stream. There it is. All right, so Renata, you can draw on the farm so that the river has. There we go. The river has turned it into a floodplain. Look at that. You win some, you lose some again. And I think this is the one. Okay, yeah. Nice. So the original human structures that we started with, the house of worship and the farm, are gone. But in their place, we now have this like mountain lodge getaway thing where the cave used to be, and a fungus farm where the pollinator used to hang out. So we've swapped out some human features. and some forest features. Alrighty, then it's Chelsea's turn.
Man, my son is gone.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
I miss him already.
R.I.P.
6.
6. All right, so you are speaking as Skitter, the voice of the insects, and you got a new suit. This is the King of Swords. So your spirit, Skitter, goes to the wood heart and tells it that the humans have driven them from the forest. What have the humans done, and why has this spirit had to leave this place? That's so sad. Bye.
Well, it was great. It was good to be here. It's been real. It's been missed you all, but after they messed up the mushrooms, kind of lived on the mushrooms. The insects loved it. I loved it. The pollinator was a really nice guy. I heard his mom was awesome. And we can't just live on the fruit. The fruit's cool, but we lost our main food, which is mushrooms, and don't see the point in staying. So, GG's. See you guys next time. I'm so sorry.
Nah, I hear it. The detritivores, they're important.
Right.
So sad. Oh no. All right, so we have crossed Skitter off the list. Don't worry, there's a chance that they could be brought back at some point in the future. But for now, they have left the forest. And that makes it Ellen's turn. Sorry, did you say 1?
I'm sorry, I said 4. I
4.
didn't realize I was muted.
No worries.
It had such a beautiful roll, too. The sound was beautiful. 4.
No worries. Okay, 4 is Zyla, the voice of the trees. And your card is... Yes. Here we are back again. You got wands. So you're telling the wood heart that you've taken something else. You're the trees and the wands again. That's awesome. So you've taken something else that the humans built.
Okay. This is of the trees specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one that makes the most sense would be the outpost up in the mountains, the little base camp up there. I think that maybe... I think that at one point a very large tree that had already been there, that they had maybe built their structure kind of close to or nearby, toppled over and fell and crushed their building, and it's no longer usable.
Makes sense. Goodbye. Yeah, so that means you get to draw that as a ruins and reclaim that section as forest again.
Do my best to draw a felled tree here.
Yeah.
Nice big old log. Ugh, can you imagine the salamanders? It's gonna be beautiful.
Yes. Love salamanders. Salamanders and roly-polies or potato bugs or whatever people call them. Apparently that's a regional thing, what you call those little creatures.
I heard in New Zealand they're called slaters. I had never heard that one before. We call them roly-polies here.
Yeah, pillbugs.
Pillbugs, yeah. Isopods, if you're fancy. Woohoo! Alrighty, and that brings us back to the top of the order again. Johanna.
Very sad.
I know, it is sad. I know. Some things.
That's a 6.
Oh, 6. Oh, what happens if you roll the one who's not here anymore? Oh no, if you roll a spirit that has left the forest, then the forest shrinks. Oh no. Man, we're just going back and forth between claiming things that the humans made and taking things away. Yeah, so something that was once a feature of the forest is gone forever. Maybe because the insects left. Which forest feature do the humans destroy, and what is left in its place? So you've got the birds, the fruit trees, the heart itself, the swamp, or the two structures that have now been reclaimed by the forest.
So, especially since these are figs and they are reliant on these wasps to pollinate them, they are now gone because the wasps are gone. And they cannot exist without the other.
If you tug on a single thread, everything unravels.
Yeah, most of these species actually that pollinate figs are specific to those figs. So there's pretty much a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, that makes sense. When you're that specific, either partner in the relationship disappearing becomes a problem. All right, so goodbye fig trees. There they go. So sad. Oh no. All right. Renata.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for some good therapy sessions between the people in the forest.
Yeah, I know, right?
I got 3.
3. That's Peep, the voice of the birds. And your card is... Oh no, the 7 of Swords. You did, you jinxed it. The Swords is the spirit goes to the wood heart and tells it that the humans have driven it from the forest. What have the humans done, and why has the spirit had to leave?
Man, the birds?
I know. It's a problem.
Because birds can hang out, a lot of birds can hang out around people for quite some time. Like, look at peregrine falcons, they're straight up thriving in a lot of cities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hunt off the edge of skyscrapers. If any of y'all have seen that, that's really, really cool. Anyway. Pigeons. Everybody knows about pigeons. Just like you try to just hanging out. Which, I swear I will answer this question, but are pigeons also the same thing as doves?
They're rock doves, yeah. So it's a kind of
I feel like
kind of dove.
Like, let me release doves at my wedding, but for some reason when I show up with pigeons, people are not.
Amazing.
Let's see. Okay, so people been driven from the forest. Well, so I mean, part of the problem is that when you get rid of all the insects, right? Like you have all your pollinators disappearing. Not all of our birds, but a whole bunch of our birds really eat those insects. And the ones that didn't eat the insects, a lot of them ate fruits. And when the fig trees disappeared, combo of no fruits, no insects, and the hummingbird feeder disappeared because of that whole channelization, the flooding situation. We're really like running low on options food-wise. And I gotta take care of my own. And like, while we love it here and it's pretty, and it's a pretty big forest and everything, if we don't have food, there's not much we can do. So we're gonna head out. We might come back if, in the season, maybe it's getting some winter time. There's not a lot of options. We might go like hang out in, I don't know, Mexico or somewhere cool. And then we'll come back up here someday. But for now, that abouts. Good luck, everybody.
No, that makes sense. You want to hear something gross about doves and pigeons? Yeah. So I worked at a wildlife rehab for a while, and that involved taking care of baby birds, right? So doves and pigeons, the parents make this real gross mixture of stuff called crop milk that they feed to their babies. It's real weird. But yeah, so like, a lot of parent birds will like regurgitate stuff for their babies to eat, right? Before they can go out and find their own food. But crop milk is this weird, like, liquid mixture of stuff that the parents have, collected and put into their crops and sort of, it's real gross. But in order to make a proxy of crop milk for the baby birds that we were taking care of, you mix like all kinds of gross things together in a blender, and it was horrifying. But yeah.
In Animal Crossing, there is a barista pigeon.
Oh no.
And he will ask you if you would like pigeon milk in your coffee. And it's like not really expanded on. It's kind of like it's just a brief moment that's never really explained, but like while he's serving you coffee, he'll be like, "Do you want pigeon milk?" And you can say yes or no.
The answer is no.
I clicked yes to see what would happen, and it seemed to be largely ignored. Like it wasn't really a big deal. It was I was like, oh, interesting. What a quirky addition.
That's fun. I wonder.
will say it.
Don't flamingos have like red crop milk? Or
Oh,
can
do
have
they?
red crop milk?
I didn't know anybody else did crop milk. That's cool.
Because I think some people were like freaking out about it on Twitter, and it's like, no, that's just crop milk. It's just red for some reason.
I will say, I mean, every time now someone tells me that birds don't make milk, I'm going to bring up this fun fact that it's not quite the same milk, but we're calling it almond milk and coconut milk. And the dairy industry, I'm sure, is very angry about this. I think there are legit lawsuits happening.
Yep.
Where, like, you can't color milk because it's not dairy because this is how the world we live in works. But I'm gonna call it milk. So if someone comes at me, I'll be like, "Have you heard of pigeons eating white stuff into their children's mouths?" Because now you have.
Yes, Chelsea, I did a quick Google and you are correct. It is red and gooey and drippy and gross looking, and it is flamingo crop milk. Tasty. Nasty. All right, well that's a thing that happened. The birds left. Sadness. And that makes it Chelsea's turn. Give us some good news. Let's see what's next in the heart of the cards.
No pressure.
No pressure. Uh-oh. You rolled a 3 or a 6, huh? Yeah. Oh, no. All right. So if you rolled one of those, that means the forest shrinks again. So the humans are taking something else. Another feature of the forest is being taken or reclaimed or whatever. Oh, and we have to lose the bird. We didn't erase that from the thingy. Goodbye, hummingbird. All right. You still have a lot of forest features to choose from, though, so, you know. So you have the ruin of the mountain resort hangout thing that was once a cave. You have the ruin of the house of worship, or you have the flooded swamp thing that used to be a farm.
What about I was just about to say the former farm.
Yeah.
It can still be swampy, but I guess it's not ours anymore. Or does the swamp dry up?
It could still be swampy and not be yours anymore for some reason. But yeah, what would the humans have done to reclaim it?
I think that there's like something that like grows in the swamp, like some kind of plant that grows in the swamp. They're like, oh, this is kind of cool actually. So they've reclaimed that bit and just like left it as a swamp, but they're harvesting. Doesn't rice grow in like swampish areas? Not completely swampy, but sort of flooded area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've discovered rice.
Yeah.
They've discovered wild rice.
Fun fact, part of the reason that rice is grown like that, apparently, is because the water keeps weeds down, because a lot of other plants hate to have their feet that wet, and so, like, the rice is okay with wet feet, and so it keeps weeds from interfering with the rice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's kind of a cool, like, pest management without any sort of, awful... flooding fields comes with its own problems, but, it's not like we're going to use harsh chemicals or lots of cutting to deal with the problem.
I believe betta fish are also native to rice fields.
Oh!
They betta fish do really well in, like, standing or low-flow water.
Yeah.
And so you'll find wild betta fish in, like, southeastern Asia, rice paddies. It's really interesting.
That's one of those animals that I'd, like, never really thought about the wild counterpart of.
Right.
But that's kind of cool.
That doesn't seem like...
Yeah.
It seems like... I thought they only just, like, lived in, little fish tanks in people's houses. No, they live in rice fields.
That's super cool. I like that. All right, so the flooded farm is a new kind of farm now. The humans adapted. And it's Ellen's turn.
All right, let's go. Big money. 3 again.
Oh! Man, peep left and the world is falling to pieces. The forest shrinks again. You have 2 choices that are not the wood heart left.
I've got I'm gonna say the mountain camp that a tree had fallen I think that maybe everything decomposed and rotted, and there wasn't enough left behind to replenish after that. Maybe because the humans had already cleared that area away, so once the tree decomposed, that was kind of the last of it. So everything had to kind of disperse from there because there just wasn't enough left over afterwards. So rest in peace. Goodbye, mountain camp.
Did the humans put anything new there?
I did just accidentally nerf our entire forest outline, so let me fix that real quick. Let's see, did they put anything else there? I think that maybe they hadn't made their way back up there after the tree fell. I can't think of any reason they would have to try to go back that way again, other than maybe a dam to try to decrease the flooding in that area. But if they're making the most of the flooding, then they really would actually want the water flow. So I guess I can't really think of any reason that they would have to go up that way again after losing that camp. Yeah, I think that area is just kind of donezo.
So just sort of lasting effects of human actions on the land.
Renata said a cultural site. They lost their house of worship, so I guess they would need something new. Maybe this is like a retreat almost. Like somewhere where people can go and meditate and be away from the activity of the farm and of the mushroom farm and the rice farm. Like maybe this is somewhere they can go to isolate.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Maybe a new house for that.
Sounds good. A yoga studio and all that. Big money. Alrighty. And then, Johanna, we're back up to you again. Dun dun dun. Everybody's afraid now.
It's 3.
Oh my goodness, y'all!
Start lying.
Y'all!
5?
Yeah, okay. Oh no! Your only choice that's not the wood heart is the house of worship with the big tree in it.
Yeah, after they came for the old cabin, they decided, why not have our old house of worship back? And they started to cut down the branches and got rid of the tree inside.
Sadness. Goodbye, tree. Oh no. Gracious. All right, Renata.
There's warring religious factions.
Oh, wow. Drama. Renata, you gotta roll something that's not a 3 or a 6. Ooh! Or it could go off the table. Yeah!
Success, it's a 4.
It's a 4.
It's a little dramatic because I can't roll properly, apparently, but it's 4.
Oh, no worries. All right, so you are speaking as Zyla, the voice of the creaking of the trees. Hey, we get to hear from a spirit again. That's nice. That is not a suit card. You got the Page of Pentacles. So Pentacles is... Oh, no. Boo. I think we lose. The spirit tells the wood heart that the humans have stolen something. And that means that we do a forest shrinks again. But the only thing we have left in the forest to take away is the beautiful asymmetrical pink mushroom drum heart.
Man, he really shot us down. Chelsea, I see you're coming in. Yeah.
What was that?
What about the river? Can we lose the river? Can we lose the heart?
Oh, I don't know. Can we?
It's like it's a feature we added.
I feel like because you had a bunch of folks who were using river as transport networks through a lot of places, like especially if you think of the Americas, the fur traders, the French went through, did all kinds of stuff by rivers. You had all these people who showed up in the Amazon and were like, let me traverse the rivers, and then nearly died for 40 years. Some Native Americans who were in the area was like, am I really bailing you out for the 6th time? I feel like, so there's, go through
Yeah,
Can be a little rough, a little
I
colder.
I will accept that argument. Yes, you can take away the river instead of the wood heart when the forest shrinks. So what have the humans stolen? How have they stolen it? What is different now?
Oh man. How about, so we have these houses of worship, we have a farm. The humans are like trying to make things accessible for their community. They have some folks maybe with disabilities, or they're trying to make things more accessible for some of the older folks in the community. They've been around for a minute now. And so they're like, okay, how do we like ease transport, ease access, especially make it so that the cabin up in the woods is a good spot. And the river is one of the easiest ways to make it like accessible. But since it's a bit of a long road, they kind of got to take a little bit of the area around it, make some little stopping spots so you can kind of chill, stretch your legs a little. So that's how they're using the river.
That makes sense. Yeah. And like you said, it's like rivers are a super valuable resource for human society and development, so makes a lot of sense. Oh, this poor forest. It's so sad. All right, goodbye, river. But Zyla is still here, so that's fine. And then we have Chelsea again. One. Okay, that's Micah, the voice of the plant roots and fungi. And your card is the Four of Swords. We have not pulled Major Arcana once. This is... oh my god, swords! No! Oh, that's... the spirit goes and tells it that the humans have driven them from the forest. What have they done, and why is it leaving? Why? Where are all the Major Arcana cards in this deck? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, yeah, why is Micah... that's a bad one. Why is Micah being driven from the forest?
Well, after they killed the pollinator, and then they messed up the mushrooms, that monoculture, and then the insects left. All these things kept happening because they had like no natural defenses when this weird I don't know what to call it, disease, this weird disease attached to the fungus made it edible. They could no longer grow it, and then it was just the one that they had, so it was weak, no genetic difference to help support it and fight against this disease or anything. So now mushrooms are just extinct all throughout the forest. Not even that one kind is left. So like I said, GG's. Gotta go. No, this is sad.
It's very sad. Also wild, because like trying to get rid of all of the fungal hyphae in the soil is like yeah. Oh no.
The humans will find a way.
Yeah, that's the story. Okay, Ellen.
Alright, let's go. Four.
A 4. That is Zyla, the voice of the trees. You're real good at rolling 4s. All right. And your card is the King of Cups. Ah! The spirit tells the Woodheart that one of the humans seems to care for the forest and has tried to heal the damage done. What has this human done to help?
Quite a lot has happened.
Mm-hmm.
And we're left with not a ton. I think that maybe this human cares for the river and has, I think, maybe taken action in the form of convincing their community to care for their river better. Maybe this person is like leading river cleanups, like taking people on little trips to go clean up the river. Maybe is involved in educating people about like how to safely navigate the river without disturbing the like aquatic ecosystem. So maybe it's just like a river protector person that has really like taken charge of making sure that their community is using the river responsibly. And so I think it's the river that they're caring for.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you roll your d6 again, please?
1.
1. Okay. Because of the care that is being taken by this person and their community to sort of try to make things better, Micah, recently gone, is able to return.
Yay.
Weakened, still, with an asterisk by their name, but they're back. Not all hope is lost. Yay. Awesome. All right, Johanna.
Boy. Okay. 5.
5. That is Fauna, the voice of the calls of the animals. And your card is the 2 of Cups. So the same thing that just happened. Another human is starting to care for the forest and try to heal some of the damage. What are they doing?
Wait. So I think they would probably be setting up protected areas so these animals can have untouched habitat. Yeah, just to try to preserve some of these areas so that these animals can stay.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Putting up fencing and no hunting zones and all that. Yeah. Roll your d6 again.
6.
6. The insects and Skitter also now are able to come back because some of these areas are being better protected. And I guess since Micah came back, it's probably a little more hospitable for Skitter as well. Yay! Pulling it back from the brink.
They had us in the first half, not gonna lie.
The heart of
Perfect.
the cards, finally.
It is the heart of the cards. Thanks, Tarot
Back
Deck.
from the shadow realm.
I mean, here we are. But, like, honestly, and I figured this was going to be, like, one of those things that this game would facilitate. Like, that fluctuation in how humans and the environment are interacting with one another and taking up space or sharing space is, like, really realistic, too, right? Like, we're using the cards and the dice to add an element of randomness, but, like, this back and forth happens in the real world all the time.
It also makes sense that like the humans would look around and be like, "Hey, our forest isn't doing so great. We need to step up." Like, it kind of seems like that's what would happen in real life. You know, like people actually being like, "Oh wait, hold on, let's reel it back in."
Also, like, they don't have capitalism quite yet. They haven't gotten there yet. Society is not big enough for them to be like, I can hoard things for money. So
Wait till we have forest NFTs. Who knows?
No, why? Why did you have to speak that into existence?
because there is like wildlife parks doing NFTs on my
Oh my god, yeah, I got like DM'd by somebody on Twitter that wanted me to like help them with a conservation NFT thing, and I was like, no.
I'm thankful that I have made my online presence incredibly hostile to NFTs already, so that I do not get approached with stuff like that, because I think it's like, you know what the answer is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I proactively cyberbully them. So
Jeez. Oh goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, that was Johanna, right? All right, so we're back to Renata.
Alright, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
6.
6.
We're now back.
Yay, that's
Thank
Skitter. That is a face card. Do. Oh, that's rude. Now I don't think we have any arguments to be made. You got the pentacles again. So the humans have stolen something else from the forest. What did they take? I don't know if we have anything left, because they took the river, and even though they're helping take care of the river, they still have it. It does not belong to the forest, quote unquote. So I'm not sure if we have anything left other than the wood heart.
But yeah, I really, me with the NFTs, this Joe Schmo down the river. Fortunately, found the wood art. Okay, so I'm gonna create a little story about it in the host. So, there's a bunch of people who really care about this forest and have gotten to know it a lot better. They've been exploring it and they've had all these river cleanup adventures. And they're really trying to understand, like, how can we integrate into the forest? And in doing that, they partly, like, started dancing with the wood art, and they had the chance to kind of meet it and greet it and exist with it and do their little dances together. And they had this kind of revelation here that rather than being, like, a forest and then a bunch of human things that are antagonistic to the forest, instead they're, like, all part of an interconnected ecosystem and need to think of themselves as part of, like, a mutually relational network. And as such, we no longer have these firm divisions. The wood art is interconnected to the human society. It's one big, messy, kind of ridiculous, happy family with lots of arguments at Thanksgiving, but it's still there, and we're trying our best. I think.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think that makes perfect sense. And per the rules of the game, if the wood heart is taken by the humans, then the game is over and the forest ceases to exist. But Renata and I are both urban ecologists, and I think everybody else knows this just as well, that yeah, like, compromise is where we actually land most of the time. And there are certainly lots of awesome examples of human societies who live in a smooth compromise with nature really nicely. Capitalism makes that hard, but it is a thing that's possible. And so, yeah, I like the idea of, like, a messy, integrated system that isn't these clear delineations anymore. Yeah.
We do a Neon Genesis Evangelion mind meld at the end. Which is all part of a superorganism.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, yeah, that's a game playthrough of A Wood Heart. Thank you, James Chip on itch.io for this cute little game where we can talk about human-environment interactions and conflicts. I thought that was really sweet. It's very sad, but it did give us a lot of opportunities to talk about ways that nature can take up space and how humans use different components of nature for what we need. So yeah, I thought that was a nice game. Other thoughts on human environment interactions and the way we concluded the story?
I think one thing I'll just throw out there, working in urban systems, I think sometimes, even in myself, thinking about when things get used by humans, a lot of times it feels like, oh, here's some asshole who wants to turn this into their beach resort, which happens. Not gonna pretend like that doesn't happen. Absolutely happens. Parts of Florida, but there's also a lot of times when what humans are doing is trying to exist, as you said, which I think is important to consider too. And there's, like, not a tension, but trying to understand how we make things accessible and equitable and give resources and access, and which is important for us to do, and try to do that in a way that also kind of keeps us, at least recognizing the ways we're using resources. And I think that's something that's going to be a challenge going forward. It's like, all right, some people have a lot of things. I don't know how you want to call what you do to deal with this problem, but there's some people who, like, can't have food. Okay, that's a problem. There's some people who have a lot of things, and we can't just, like, keep consuming more. So what do we need to do to kind of fix this problem? And that's maybe something that this game points to a little bit. I think if you play it a certain way, it's like the humans aren't just assholes; they're trying to exist. So what does that mean for the forest?
Yeah.
What is the? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say that there's a lot of ways that, like, nature can bounce back on its own, but it does need some help. So, like, we saw buildings get reclaimed by nature because plants were growing through them, and mica returned because the fungus was returning, and, like, fungus is really hard to kill. There's always gonna be mushrooms somewhere. But they still need that, like, environment to grow in. So having people who take care of different parts of the forest, take care of different aspects is really important to help nurture that and help make sure that happens. Also, you know, don't create a monoculture. Don't do that. Don't do it. If you want to lose a plant, that's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've been teetering on the edge of losing bananas for a long time.
Oh my god. Bananas.
We decided, let's have one banana.
Is it bad to say bananas are like the pandas of the crop world? Is that... Ellen, you sounded like you were going to ask a question.
Yeah, I just had a question about the game mechanics.
Yeah.
What is the win condition? The lose condition. But
Yeah.
What does the victory look like?
The win condition per the game's rules is when all of the human structures are gone and humans have been eradicated from the map. But who that's a win for, as Renata mentioned about access and, equity, it's a win for the forest. But I guess, I don't know. I thought this game was cute, but it definitely starts with the premise of humans are separate from nature, which is one of my least favorite things. I'm tired of humans trying to figure out what makes us special and how we're different from animals. We are part of nature. And so, yeah, I don't think that eradicating humans from the map is actually a win, even if it's the win condition for the game. Yeah.
Kind of sets up an adversarial relationship between humans and the forest, but I think that just like Renata did, I think that there is a way that you can frame that, in your storytelling of the game, you can do that in a way that's rather than the humans being eradicated or pushed out from an area, maybe that could be a place where they've found symbiosis. Maybe that's just a place of maybe rather than thinking of it as being, oh, this area is controlled by the humans and not the forest, you can think of this is a place where there is no conflict. And then the areas that are not within the forest are these are areas where there's conflict. So maybe that's something that you can hash out in your just the way that you describe the gameplay. It's a cool idea.
Yeah, I like that. Other thoughts on the game? It's fine if not.
It was a really
go for
fun
it.
game, and I would love to play it again.
Yay!
I just want to lose the forest.
I know. Yeah, it was fun, and it's fun to do a map drawing game. Yeah.
I feel the loss of the insects was really overshadowed by the birds. I was so sad.
Very on
That
brand.
was just the first domino.
Yeah.
I feel can we also talk about, if you lose some of these things for the whole forest, man, you are in for a world of trouble. We talked a little bit about this, but man, if you don't have insects, good luck. You're not gonna have a forest. I'm impressed that they go and come back, and I think it makes for a good game mechanics, but in the real world, you can't really afford to lose any of those things. You're just SOL.
I think you have to come into this with some understanding of there's some magic involved.
Yeah.
There's gonna be
As
some
there
magic
should be.
happening.
Well, and I think we also we were treating it as if Skitter leaves, all of the insects are gone, but Skitter is the spirit of the voice of the insects. So I guess you could interpret the rules as the insects are still there, but it's just so inhospitable that the spirit of the insects has left, and so I don't know. But yeah, you're absolutely correct that you can't really lose any of these things entirely, or it's just gone. Yeah.
So Skitter got tired of hearing all the insects cry and complain that
Yeah.
kind of gotta go. We tried organizing, it didn't work. We gotta leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, union organizer.
That seems right. You got enough infighting, and there's 16 factions. You're listen, there's some stuff that needs to change for us to be able to get our union together. Who knows? We'll retry this election next time around.
I didn't even think about it until just now, but this also has Lorax vibes, right? The idea of different groups leaving as things start to suck more. Yeah. But again, there's always the opportunity for all of that to get fixed. So yeah, thank you all for telling such a beautiful and interesting story about the way the humans in the forest interacted today. Thank you, Tarot Deck, for not being very interesting at all. Anyway, I'll have to shuffle better next time.
We made it interesting.
We made it interesting. Let's go around and y'all can tell people where they can find you on the interwebs and stuff. Chelsea.
I'm always scrambling to
Oh.
So you can find me mainly on Twitter at Chelsea Herps. I promise I use Instagram. I really do sometimes. That's out to Chelsea. But if you're looking for a lot of posts very often about my grad school experience and about animals and birds and other random stuff that are, pretty cool or not okay, or lots of talks about my cat, then follow me on Twitter. Check my stickers on Redbubble. I might be adding one tomorrow. Maybe.
Ooh, new stickers. Oh boy. And then there's Johanna.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter as well. Johanna Schwartz, but Schwartz is spelled without the A. I post on there occasionally, usually about how there's not a parasitoid Pokemon. But if you like that,
Yeah.
I'm there.
Amazing. Then there's Ellen.
So our podcast, Just the Zoo of Us, is available on all major podcatchers. We have a website, justthezooofus.com, that points you to, gives more information about the podcast, but also shows you where you can listen and stuff. We are on all of the major social media platforms. I'm most active on Twitter, but we're also on Instagram and have a pretty cool little Facebook group. So just search the title, Just the Zoo of Us, on any of those social media platforms, and I promise you'll find us.
Nice. And the first episode they should listen to is the one that Chelsea is a guest on, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Chelsea talked about Dominican and Knowles. That was 2 years ago almost.
Oh,
I
wow.
think. A little while ago, but it was great. So yeah, absolutely.
Where did the time go?
I know, right?
Amazing. And then there's Renata.
Yeah, I will say I borderline look like a bot on some social media platforms. I am there. I swear. It's just, it's my first name and last name, Renata Kamakura. If you look at the ad itself, it's RP, and then my last name, Kamakura. Feel free to message me. I am a human sometimes, so feel free to we'll have usually friendly conversations.
Amazing. And you know that you can find me and the rest of the crew here on Nature Check on Sundays and Thursdays doing a variety of nerdy things and talking about science. If you're interested in just me, you can find me on Twitter or the Instagram as the Roving Naturalist. I try to do things on social media. It's hard sometimes. And I make videos on the YouTubes. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here. I hope you enjoyed our Super Bowls conversation today. I knew I've had to put the pun in again since I put it on Twitter. BOLES, the bowls of trees. But we're gonna go now. I hope you all enjoyed our storytelling, and we will see you later. Bye.